everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over for what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. In a surprising reveal, Zack Snyder took to his Twitter account last night to unveil the first official look of Jason Momoa as Aquaman in the upcoming Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Now, this was, I think, a what's the word I'm looking for? They had two objectives here. Let's just put it that way. The first objective was getting DC back into the radar of people after the massive announcement of the Marvel-Sony deal last week. This was basically their one big way of trying to get back into that race. And I think they actually did a really good job, because this really showcases that they're not pulling any punches when it comes to the adaptations of their characters. They're not going to be going the safe route. They're not going to be going the, basically, like, what was the character in the comics? Okay, let's adapt that. It's no, what were the core characteristics of that character? And we're going to bring them to life in a new, more realistic way, a more grounded way. I don't like using the word grounded, but it's just, basically the terminology means what or how would it appear if it existed in our world. And that's what they mean by grounded. So it's just, if we were to be walking down the street and we were to actually witness this event and the person culminating it, this would be, generically speaking, this would be what that person would look like. And I think it looks phenomenal. This looks so badass. Now, when they first talked about Jason Momoa getting the role, I knew first off, we're going to get a badass Aquaman. He's not going to look the same way that he did. He's not going to be wearing the generic orange and green orange and green spandex. We're not going to be getting that. Instead, we're getting a combination of the New 52 look, because as you can see, he has both his hands, so he doesn't have the hook hand yet. He's got a lot of tribal tattoos that match up with the engravings on his armor that he has on the one side. The trident looks incredible. I mean, just everything about it, even like his visual appearance, like the hair, what appears to be the highlights in his hair and the beard. Everything about this just looks badass. I do like the insignia as well, because, I mean, you got the classic Aquaman look, or the Aquaman insignia on his belt. I mean, just everything about this looks really cool. It's keeping in line with all the other promotional imagery we've seen from the movie so far, with it being dark, very kind of desaturated. So for the most part here, we have, there's a little bit of gold and yellow that comes through, a little tiny hint of a skin tone, but outside of that, it's mostly just a black and white color. But damn, does that trident look cool. I mean, everything about this picture is just awesome. This is what I think we've all wanted Aquaman to look like, if he was to look as badass. I got a lot of hope for this character because of how he's been done in the New 52. And this just proves my point. I mean, you got a guy like Momoa who could go toe-to-toe with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he actually even did go toe-to-toe with Sylvester Stallone in Bullet to the Head. So this guy's got a lot of promise. I was championing him for the longest time about getting this role, so I'm very happy that he did, and I cannot be happier with the look. I mean, nobody wants to mess with this guy. Not even Superman. I mean, Zack Snyder even came out and said that one thing that most people don't realize is that Aquaman's trident can actually cut the flesh of Superman. So this is a badass. This is a guy you do not want to friggin' mess with. But on top of that, there's rumors going around that the trident will actually be the MacGuffin of the solo Aquaman movie, and that's actually what everybody's going to be going after. He's going to be in control of it, most likely. And then there's going to be somebody else coming on board to try to take it from him. So that's at least the rumor going around about what the solo movie will include. Now, that being said, there's like 17 different scripts being written for the Aquaman spin-off film, so we still don't know a lot about that yet. My biggest question, and a lot of people are speculating as to what this means, what do they mean by Unite the Seven? Because as you can see on the picture, it's Unite the Seven. A lot of people have been speculating that it's the Justice League, because there are 7 members. We have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern, and Cyborg. So there's 7 members there. The other side of the speculation is that it's uniting the seven seas and getting everything kind of back to the way that it was before the world engine, because a lot of people are speculating that the world engine that was in Man of Steel is actually one of the causes that brings Aquaman into this world, why he comes up from Atlantis onto the mainland and really needs to interact with these characters. So we still don't know exactly what the reasoning is why he's going to be in it, but that's the biggest speculation so far, that world engine, the one that Superman actually destroyed in Man of Steel, spoiler alert, the one that was in the Indian Ocean, that was actually causing irreparable damage to the oceans and to the seas, and so it caused this kind of upheaval, and now Aquaman has to deal with this almost borderline civil war that's happening under the ocean. Like, there's a lot of potential possibilities here, and a lot of people say that it's, it's inherently silly about a guy who can talk to fish and stuff like that, but it's more than that. He can, I don't like using the word talk, he can communicate, he can push his will upon these certain animals. So, I mean, he could be swimming, he could be having a bunch of problems, and then all of a sudden he could telepathically will a group of sharks or a group of giant whales or a whole school of fish or anything like that, a bunch of swordfish that could come in and actually take care of the problem, or at least get him away from what's going on. Like, there's a lot of possibilities. He can also communicate with, like little sea urchins and stuff like that could actually potentially cause, if they all were to move, it could cause earthquakes underground. Like, there's so many different cool possibilities with this character. And under the tutelage of somebody like Zack Snyder, I think we're going to get the best version of this character that we've seen. Now, Zack Snyder's obviously not going to direct the solo Aquaman film, much to Jason Momoa's request. But if Noah Morrow joins on, which is the rumor right now, I don't know if he is still signing, because he ended up signing on to another film, but like, this movie's still not coming out for over 2 years, or 3 years, actually. It doesn't come out till 2018. So we've got a while before we have to see a standalone film. We're going to be getting him in Batman v Superman and then Justice League Part 1 before we get the solo Aquaman film. And then we're going to see him again in Justice League 2. So there's a lot about this. But the one thing I want to mention here first, or last, I should say. This is not an indication that we will be getting a trailer soon. A lot of people have been speculating this means, oh, they're ramping up their marketing, we're going to be getting a trailer soon. No, we're not going to be getting a trailer for this movie. In my prediction, from my understanding of what their plans are, we're not going to be getting a trailer for this film until Mad Max Fury Road in May. Which to me makes a lot of sense. You get the first trailer out there. They may even wait until Comic-Con. I would not be surprised if they waited till Comic-Con. But the rumor going around right now is that it will be with Mad Max, which is another big Warner Brothers production. And it makes the most sense. But they will release the first trailer in May, which still gives that's 10 months away. I mean, a lot of people are forgetting. That's almost a year out from the release of the film. It's the same distance that we are right now to Star Wars Episode 7. Almost identical. So whether or not, and Star Wars is a different case because we got a little teeny tiny teaser. And if we got something like that for Batman v Superman, I think it'd be cool. But personally, I think it would be a waste because we already, a lot of people are aware this movie is coming. Not everybody, but a lot of people are aware about it. So you don't need the announcement trailer. A lot of people were aware of Star Wars, but they had no idea what they were going to be getting. And so that's why they put out that little tiny teaser. When it comes to Batman v Superman, we already have Man of Steel. We already have several of these little pictures that have been released. Because with Star Wars, we never got any official photos of anything before that trailer. So we never got any pictures of the cast members before the trailer. They're kind of doing this in reverse. We're getting glimpses of these characters first, and then we're going to be shown a teaser. Now, what that teaser encompasses is another story. There's also rumors going around that we may get a very Batman-centric teaser, although I don't know if that's actually the case. It would kind of seal the fate that a lot of fans have assumed, that this started off as a Man of Steel sequel and then transitioned into a more Justice League prequel that is going to be heavily featuring Batman. But other people have gone back and forth and said that this is inherently going to be Superman's story, and that Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, any of the other characters, Cyborg, any of the other characters that we're going to meet in the movie are going to be lending a supporting role to the overall story that will be Superman's. So only time will tell. We're still going to need to get a trailer. But I wouldn't expect that trailer to debut at the very earliest until May. So that's at least my prediction, but I wouldn't be surprised if they waited until Comic-Con, which would be a nice bookend because the first preview debuted last year at Comic-Con, and it it leaked online, but it never made its way officially online, and then have the official trailer debut at Comic-Con 2015, and then have your marketing campaign start from there. So there's a lot of options that they have to explore, but they still got a lot of time to deal with it. But my overall impression, I'm digging this picture. This looks so cool. I'm very happy with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think this is a good adaptation? Would you have rather seen something different? Let me know in the comment section. And when this movie, if we get more information about this topic, then I will definitely update you guys on here. This to me was very surprising. About a month and a half ago, Neill Blomkamp took to his Instagram account to actually showcase some concept art for a new Alien film that he was toying with the idea of doing. Now, at the time, he said that it was nothing official. He was just kind of doing it for fun. But the concept art was really intriguing. I mean, it had Ripley post Aliens, but pre-Alien 3. So it was basically like, this is what my version of what the Alien 3 should have been. And we've already kind of gotten that with Aliens Colonial Marines. Now, the gameplay in that game was absolutely horrific, but the story concept was really cool. And that's almost what this looks like it's taking a page out of. So there's concept art of the engineer ship that is still crash landed, but it's now housed in this giant warehouse. You know, you have the Weyland-Yutani Corporation that has this massive complex that's been set up on a planet. We still don't know if it's LV-426 or if it's another planet. But then they also show Hicks, and Hicks has been horribly scarred on the one side of his face, leading people to speculate that this is a direct connection to Aliens because he got hit with the acid blast in the face and he had his face all taped up. But then there's some really cool shots of, like, there's the Alien Queen, which, outside of Alien vs. Predator, the first one, we've really never seen a full-on badass queen. I mean, you got aliens, granted, but I mean, the full articulation of what that type of creature should be able to maneuver with, we really only got that in Alien v Predator, but it still wasn't the greatest action scene. It was kind of cool, but I would have rather seen it be a little bit cooler and R-rated. But then the most intriguing part of it was the scene with, or the shot with Ripley, where she had like an engineer's helmet on. So she had the big elongated skull, and she had the big faceplate over it. So it looked like almost that she was getting in to one of the engineer's ships. Now, whether or not she's trying to blend in and kind of do a Trojan horse type situation going into the alien lair, we still don't know. This is all just concept art. There was no story details that came along with this. So it was all just a really cool idea. Well, it looks like it's now happening. Now, whether or not what he did in his concept art is still happening is another story, but Neill Blomkamp is officially signed on to direct another Alien film. Now, this is not going to be Prometheus 2. Ridley Scott is currently in development on Prometheus 2. Ridley Scott will also be producing this new Alien film. And this new Alien film will take place after the events of Prometheus 2. So if we take all of that, then that means that most likely Prometheus 2 will be Ridley Scott's next film after The Martian. He's alluded to that in the past, but now this almost makes it a confirmation. With The Martian coming out this fall, he wouldn't most likely be able to start production on Prometheus 2 until, well, at least unless the script gets finished, but he probably wouldn't be able to get started on Prometheus 2 until the end of this year, if not beginning of 2016, which means that we would not see a Prometheus sequel at the very earliest until sometime late in 2017, but most likely 2018. That would then mean that this Alien movie, which is going to be separate, it's going to be produced by Ridley Scott, but I could see them shooting them very close together and trying to capitalize on the success of the first one with releasing the next one. So we'll probably see this new Alien film within a year of the release of Prometheus 2. Now, Prometheus 2 right now, or Ridley Scott has a film scheduled for release either in March of 2016 or March of 2017. It was originally speculated this was going to be either Prometheus 2 or Blade Runner 2. With The Martian coming out, I don't believe that's going to be the case anymore. I think they're either going to have to abandon that release date or it'll be some other project that they'll just give to somebody else. But this is still really curious because does this tie in to Prometheus 2 or will it just take place after the events of that film? I do 100% believe that this will be an Alien film. It will deal with the xenomorph. It will not deal with the engineers. It might talk about them. We will not have Elizabeth Shaw or David the android involved in this movie. They will be in Prometheus 2, but not in Alien 3 or 5 or whatever they're going to call it. My biggest hope for it, while I do enjoy the director's cut of Alien 3, because it makes a lot more sense. You understand, like, I mean, when you look at the original Alien and even Aliens, when an alien is, or when the parasite gets ingested by the human and then it breaks out, it's like a 1/5 of its scale or 1/6 of its scale. Yet in Alien 3, it goes into a dog, which is inherently a much smaller creature, yet it comes out full size. That didn't make any sense. Well, in the director's cut, it's actually in some sort of giant ox-like creature. So when it actually breaks out, it's still only like 1/4 or 1/5 of the size of the overall creature. So it makes a lot more sense. There are other sequences in the movie that are just handled better. The CGI obviously is not, but the overall movie, I think, is handled a lot better. There's more storylines put in that make things make more sense. You can see kind of what David Fincher was originally trying to do before the producers came in and said, no, you're going to do this, and this. You're going to put it in that order. You're basically our yes man, which kind of sucks because it was his first feature film. He had done a bunch of music videos before that, but it was his first feature film. I personally hope that they ignore and completely disregard Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, even though Alien Resurrection was written by Joss Whedon. A lot of people don't know that. The events of those films they completely destroyed the franchise. And so having this movie come in, really taking up the fact that, Ripley and Hicks are still trying to deal with this alien problem, whether or not they go back to LV-426 or not, because even though a lot of people will say, well, they blew up the atmosphere processor on the planet. Well, yes, but in the original script, they never once said that this was the only one, because in the original script, there were, I think, either 20 or 30 different atmospheric processors on the planet. So it's theoretically conceivable that the aliens weren't just at that one location. Now, that was the only colony that they had lost contact with. They never even alluded that there was another colony on the planet. And it could even be from another planet in that system. We still don't know. We're still very much in the dark. A lot of this is speculation. But if it was on the same planet, which I kind of hope that it's not, but if they're going by the concept art, and again, to clarify, the Alien 5 movie that Neill Blomkamp has signed on for, we do not know if it will be based off of his concept art. So I just need to alert everybody to that. We don't know when this movie would take place. I'm hoping that it's kind of based off of his concept art, because that to me is the movie we've all wanted to see. We all wanted to see the continuation of Ripley and Hicks going after these creatures. Maybe they get stranded on another planet, although that kind of replays the first and second movie. But if they came in contact with them of sorts, there's a lot of potential for it. Let's just say that. And this is the type of project I've been hoping Neill Blomkamp would get attached to, because, and I've said this before, like, Elysium was very similar to District 9. It was just done with a much bigger budget, and to me, it didn't resonate with anything. I didn't care for the movie all that much, because I wasn't invested in anything. Chappie, to me, looks really good, but again, it looks the same. He looks like he just visually is keep making the same film over and over and over again. I don't think that we're going to get an alien film set in South Africa or Mexico City. So, we have that to hope for. And I do think that he can bring something very unique visually to this film, because his first film that he was going to do was an adaptation of Halo. So he is open to the possibility of working within an established universe. I think he just wants to rather deal in his own universes that he creates. But it's only time's going to tell about this. I'm really excited for this because it looks like there's been something that's jump-started a resurgence in the Alien franchise. I did enjoy Prometheus. I found that it was a very successful film. It had its problems, 100%. You could tell that it was two different scripts that were mashed into one. I really do recommend people, if you can go online, you can find it online because it's a great read. Find Paradise, written by John Spates, which is the original script before Damon Lindelof came in and added all that, searching for God crap that they introduced in the movie. Because to me, that should have never been a part of the film. It should have never been a part of the movie, because that's what got people really ticked off by it. Because a lot of it didn't go anywhere. It asked questions. It's pure Damon Lindelof storytelling. Ask a whole bunch of questions. Don't answer any of them. Because that to me is the lazy way of writing. I mean, he did that with Lost, and that's one of the problems I have with Lost, because the show just, by the time they started answering the questions, they were the dumbest answers in the universe. Spoiler alert for those of you who have not seen Lost, or have not continued to watch Lost past the first season. You remember that big giant creature that we never saw, but you could hear roaring and stomping, and all the trees were moving in and out of the way? Yeah, you know how you thought it was a dinosaur or some weird creature? Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was a giant frickin' black cloud, all right? It was Galactus in Fantastic Four. That's what it was. They literally pooped the bed on that one. It was absolute garbage. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm done. This show is stupid. Damon Lindelof. I am a very... I don't necessarily like his writing styles for the most part. I am anticipating Tomorrowland, although I hope that it's not like 1,500 questions that are asked and none of them are answered. So, I don't know. I have a problem with his writing style. And if he said he's not coming back for Prometheus 2, which is good. That means hopefully we'll get actually one storyline instead of 14 that are crammed into a 2-hour movie and none of them are resolved. So, that's my biggest thing. I hope that we're going to get a really good movie. I really do hope that this is going to be something that is going to work within the continuity of the Alien franchise while simultaneously getting rid of Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, much like how Days of Future Past did. That's my biggest hope. So we're still very early on in the process. There's a lot that could work with this. I am really, really excited for this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you excited for this movie? Do you think that they shouldn't be doing this? Do you think Neill Blomkamp should focus on something else? Let me know in the comment section below. And if we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. With the Academy Awards airing on Sunday night, I just wanted to give my predictions for the main categories as to who I think is going to win. Now, some of these categories are a two-horse race. They are definitely... There's the possibility that it could not be the choice that I have, but still, these are the ones who I think are going to win. Not necessarily my official choices, but these are the ones who I think are going to win. So, for Best Picture, I think it's going to be Birdman. For Best Director, I actually think it's going to be Richard Linklater, although I would like it to be Alejandro Inarritu. For Best Lead Actor, I would like it to be Michael Keaton, and I think it's going to be Michael Keaton. For Best Lead Actress, it will definitely be Julianne Moore. For Best Supporting Actor, it will definitely be J.K. Simmons. For Best Supporting Actress, it's most likely going to be Patricia Arquette, although it's not 100%. For Best Original Screenplay, I think it's going to be Grand Budapest Hotel, although I would like it to be Birdman. But judging by the Writers Guild Association Awards, the Grand Budapest Hotel did win a Best Original Screenplay. And for Best Adapted Screenplay, The Imitation Game, which also did win at the WGA Awards for Best Adapted Screenplay. So those, and then Best Cinematography, I think it will be, believe it's Emmanuel Lubezki for Birdman. I almost think that's a no-brainer. I mean, the whole movie was done as one shot. It's an accomplishment. It's a feat into itself. So I really think that's going to win. For Best Picture, yes, Birdman, 100% all the way. Boyhood, I don't think is going to win. Not Imitation Game. Theory of Everything might squeak in, but I'm pretty sure this is Birdman's award to lose. For Best Director, like I said, Richard Linklater's probably going to win it, but I would love it if Inarritu won it. The lead actor, this is the biggest question mark of the night, because right now it's a dead heat between Michael Keaton and Eddie Redmayne. Now, Eddie Redmayne may have lost a little bit of steam due to Jupiter Ascending, because and I talked about this, as much as I love the movie, he is so bad in the movie, it is almost unbearable to watch him. And I even said that on my trailer review of the movie back in the summer. You know, I said, like, he's not intimidating. He just talks like this through the whole movie, except when he screams. But then he goes back to talking like this. And there's even a scene at the beginning where he's talking so quietly you could barely even hear him. Like, it's absolutely terrible. It's such a bad performance. And it came out about a week or so before the Oscar ballots were actually due. Like, for the nominees were already announced, but who they thought was going to win was still about a week away. So I don't know if that's hurt his chances. I personally believe that Michael Keaton did have they're both amazing performances. See, I can't even say which one is better. I personally liked Michael Keaton's performance better than Eddie Redmayne's as Stephen Hawking. But you cannot discount the quality of that role. I mean, he knocked it out of the park with that role. It was incredible. So I would be happy with either one of them. I would rather Michael Keaton win just because I think it is a better accomplishment of acting, especially keeping the character going for that long with those long shots and having to redo those sometimes over and over again. There's a lot to go with. So those are my main thoughts on it. So I'm probably going to be wrong. But I'll be live tweeting. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, I will be live tweeting during the Oscars on Sunday night. So I will be announcing who the winners are as they are announced. So make sure if you guys aren't following me yet, follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, and you'll be getting all those updates. And you can unfollow me if you don't want to get those. So, because I've seen a couple of people do that. But anyway, those are my Oscar predictions. We're going to know more on Sunday night, and I will be doing my Oscar recap video on Monday morning. So, one thing I just want to announce, I didn't actually talk about this on Wednesday's episode, but on Tuesday the 17th of February, it was actually the 1-year anniversary of this show. So, I've been going now for 1 full year, and I never thought that I would actually get to this point. I really didn't. I thought that at some point I would either just, whether or not I would give up or it just wouldn't be able to work in the time of the show, but I've been going strong now for a year. I really just want to thank all of the loyal followers and supporters of the show. It's mainly you guys that keep me doing this every day, or every other day, I should say. But yeah, it's all the great comments and the views and, you know, the shout outs and emails and on Twitter and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much, guys. We're done. We're 1 year in. Here's to the next year. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And, when it comes to the Oscars, I will be doing my Oscar after show on Monday. So be sure to check out for that. When we do get more information about that, I will definitely update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click that subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And you can also give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. If you guys ever have a topic or a question you'd like to have discussed on the show, you can go ahead and put a comment in the comment section, or you can email us at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com. And on every Friday episode, we'll try to get to as many as we can. But until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.